Hello everyone, this is Randolph Parker, MS. Welcome to my channel. If you're new, please subscribe, like, give a thumb up, and comment. Today I'm working on a switching power supply, and I just replaced two capacitors, and I'm at the point of soldering those capacitors. I'm looking at the unit came in with 12 volts output. However, under load, it would drag down to about 9 volts within under load. So I had used my meter. I'm on my tear down breakdown table that I like a lot, that I use to do most of my solder work. I have the exhaust fan on. There is my desolder station that I use. I like a lot. Again, I love this little breakdown area. It gives me the ability to maneuver within the shop and go to various test areas with need be. For the most part, my meter and my transformer is all I need for my teardown bench to do basic check. I slowly adjust the variable react in order to make sure there aren't any surprises when I'm doing these power supplies, especially with capacitors like that. So right now, again, I'm in the process of uh, soldering the two capacitors, the output capacitors. What I would do later, once I get it power up under load, I would check the output ripple. You know, you don't want AC riding on your DC, so to speak, so you want the ripple to be as low as possible, right? Almost an output line above the reference point of your oscilloscope. Here I'm showing the bottles that I use, that I have labeled flux. I have a water bottle that is labeled water, and also a bottle labeled alcohol that I use on my teardown table, just in case you know um, I'm not accidentally mistaking my alcohol for my water bottle, or vice versa, right? That would be a disaster if so. However, my two smaller bottles that I use is flux and alcohol, but the larger bottle is water. So I know I use the larger bottle for the water, and that's because within the lab itself, I have various breakdown tables I like with solder irons here and there. So for the most part, you use a lot of water. And as you can see, I'm struggling with the alcohol bottle earlier, part of the video where I have to refill that bottle. But now I'm in the process of flowing solder to the joints of the two capacitors that I have replaced earlier off radio, and just now I'm just cleaning off my tip. Again, soldering is a skill within itself. I claim not to be such a skillful soldering person, because I do most of my time I do breadboarding as far as engineering research or electrical research and stuff like that. I like the breadboard and break down the circuit. But when it's time to do a repair on a power supply or any instrument or any device for that matter, it requires some type of soldering, and therefore, if you don't do it as much, your skills can suffer for a lack of doing them. I have, for my current employee, I really haven't soldered for almost 17 years. Here I'm showing you the alcohol bottle that is labeled alcohol. I'm sorry for the voiceover, but you know what? I kind of like it. It's hard to really work and talk while doing videos, but I do like the voiceover, and just watching the frame by frame and what I'm doing within the video. I can navigate and narrate the video through the voiceover. So again, I'm basically at this point, I'm reapplying alcohol onto the areas that need to be cleaned. I grabbed some Ken wipe Here I'm showing you the water bottle that I spoke earlier in the part of the video that I use to soak or hydrate the sponge to clean off the residue of the solder tip. So at this point, I'm just basically showing you the old capacitors that I took out, the power supply, the switching power supply. With these switching power supply, what you come to learn is that under load, at a certain duration, that the voltage output of 12 volts start to drop quickly, and that can be due to the output capacitors not keeping that voltage at that level, and therefore your power supply becomes insufficient or not as efficient when you're trying to power up certain devices using this power supply, mainly maybe a motherboard, things like that. So again, I grabbed some Ken Whites, and I learned this from some experienced solder people. A little alcohol onto the board and using a nice firm brush with the Ken Whites, and you're able to absorb most of the flux off the board to give it a shiny look. I learned that from some senior solder engineers, solder technicians who do this for a living, right? Who does this like consistently, constantly, and there are experts of doing this. So that's what you have right there. So